Junk removal connoisseurs, you are in luck. You found the Trash Talk Business Podcast. If you're thinking about starting, growing, hell, even getting out and selling a junk removal business, this is the place to be. We talk about scaling your business, growing it, how to get out of the truck, how to live the life you want to live in the junk removal industry. We might talk a little bit of trash, probably a little shit. It's what we do here on the Trash Talk Business Podcast. I'm Andy Weins, joined by Casey Bubba Lawrence down in Texas, who has taken up permanent residence in his pickup truck on the account of Wi-Fi, great views, and forever changing scenery. Casey, what are we talking about today?
Well, today we have a guest. His name is Darren, and you spoke to me briefly about him, and he's in the appliance restoration business, I guess, recycling restoration type thing. And it's really interesting because this is directly involved with junk removal, and this can be a huge resource if you reach out to folks like Darren and just learn. Look, everybody thinks they work 24/7 until they're bitching on Facebook. Well, that doesn't mean anything because you ain't working. But these are things you can do when you have that time. While you're bitching on Facebook, you can be picking apart an appliance and finding out different metals and stuff like that. So hopefully Darren's going to kind of walk us through a little bit about what he does and how he got started and the good and the bad, right?
No, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let's jump in. So I've known Darren, let's call it 20 years. Let's not date ourselves too much. But probably sometime after the 90s is what probably actually in the late 90s. I've known Darren that long. So Darren.
Before you went to the service. Because you came back with
okay.
You did that demo job in that basement. And I ran through a wall and almost hit you. And you looked at me and I looked at you. And we just went back to work, And
we went back to work.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot about that one. All right, so there you go. All right, so we'll just say the late 90s. It's been 20 plus years I've known Darren. He's one of the first people I met in this industry. And I'm excited to have you on because you're the first person we've had now on our on this podcast that is downstream. Everyone we've had so far is either just Casey and I bullshitting, or we've had people that are in the business or on the front end of the collection. Now we have someone on the back end, and I want to jump into it. So let's do a quick. If no one knew who you were, who are you, and why should we care about you being on the podcast today?
You should care because if you wear clothes, eat food, you need me. All right. I am in the appliance business. I'm more specifically in the reconditioned appliance business. So first thing a lot of people think is, do you buy appliances? No, I don't buy appliances. Now, that doesn't mean that other used appliance places don't. I don't for a lot of reasons. I rather dip towards the sell new. I get a lot of one-owner appliances. A lot of stuff might just need a little of this, a little of that. Some of it needs work, some of it doesn't. But it goes through a thorough inspection triage process. It gets cleaned up, reconditioned. So let's say you got a refrigerator. It's missing this shelf, this door is loose, this handle's loose, and it's dirty. Okay, and it's got a drawer missing. Well, I have a collection of all these parts from the refrigerators that have come and gone before it. I put it back together, bring it back to factory specs, good, put it on the floor. It gets a warranty, and then you get a discount on repairs for life after the warranty expires. Everybody's got their own gimmick that's in this business. Right now, there is a huge influx of raw materials or cores. Let's call it cores. If you buy a starter, it's not a brand new starter, it's a rebuild. Okay, So I don't know what's going on. Just tons of appliances coming through the Milwaukee area. Actually, I do know. Okay, so you buy an appliance from Lowe's or Home Depot or Sears. They come deliver your new appliance. Your old appliance does not just dissipate into thin air. It has a trail that it goes through. They'll take away all your stuff. It might be bicycles, lawnmowers, what have you, appliances, which they call white goods. So then, so a guy like what I used to do when I did it for Lowe's, I would take all of their stuff and I'd keep what I want and wholesale the rest. And now buy from the guy who does what I used to do. He sells the appliances, he does the weed whackers, he does something with all the other stuff. And then I buy from a guy like you, who's brilliant enough to have people pay him to take their junk away. And so you sell the bicycles or the furniture, and then I buy the appliances. And anyway,
So, no, you said something I want to touch on real quick. Is you call it white waste?
White goods,
right?
That's
white goods. Okay. So this is the thing in the we are the junk removal junk removal sub segment is within the waste industry. I can't speak today, but one of the things that we have to do as junk removal people, right, is understand industry terms. So I call it white waste, or so white waste or white goods are appliances, or commonly referred to as appliances. A lot of your curbside bulk will not pick them up. A lot of scrap yards will intermix white waste with sheet iron, right? Yeah. And I know I've been selling appliances to Darren for 20 years, like he said, roughly. I know I'm getting right now, scrap is at 7.5 cents a pound. If they pick it up, it's about 10 cents a pound if I drop it off. So I got a refrigerator, let's call it, at 100 pounds. I get $10 for it. If I take it in, I get $7.50 if they pick it up. And Darren buys it from me, $25 up to $50 per appliance. Right. Yeah. Now I have to store it and I have to sort it and I have to do a little bit more, but I can quadruple the value by knowing Darren. Now, the other beautiful thing about Darren is pre the internet, right? Darren was just a guy that lived on the west side of Milwaukee, about a mile from me, and I'd see his trucks drive by. Who last episode we talked about, and I want to touch on this real quick. Last episode we talked about be the subject matter expert in your field. How do you distinguish yourself from a personal branding standpoint? So we haven't even got to it yet, Darren. Who are you from a business standpoint? You are known as something.
I am the guy that won't steer you wrong. I'm the guy you can trust. I'm the guy that'll come.
What's your business name though? What's your business name? Because I love your.
The Washing Machine.
Say it again.
The Washing Machine Man LLC. There it is. The Washing Machine Man. Yeah, there was
right.
Yeah. There you go. Self-explanatory.
Yeah.
When I first met you, I'm like, what do you mean the Washing Machine Man? Like, what do you mean the washing? Like it's kind of like a no-brainer duh thing.
Dude, I reached out to Core-Centric, and if you haven't talked to Core-Centric, you need to. Okay, any printed circuit board you have, like the printed circuit boards from refrigerators, printed circuit boards, period. If you can pull it out intact, these guys will buy it. They refurb it. I mean, if it's like from an old big screen TV from like the 80s, maybe not. But if it's something that's anywhere close to production or close to still being repaired, they will pay you something. I mean, it's more than what you'd get if you just dumped it in scrap, and it's worth actually. If you have to dismantle it, if it's 3 or 4 screws, it's worth getting it. I'll say that. But anyway, I reached out to Core-Centric. I says, I have some boards. I need you to send me the form. Well, we only deal with businesses. Can I cuss? Is that okay on here?
Yeah, 100%. With 100%.
I'm reaching out to you. You know, you assume I'm the Washing Machine Man. I'm some dude with a pickup truck down on North Hatton. Because my name is the Washing Machine Man. But the thing is, I had actually spoken with someone before, and I just lost the form. I am a business. It kind of pissed me off. But so now, going down to being granular with your scrapping. Okay, so Science Surplus at Salvage on the south side. Those little propeller-looking things that are on your evaporator fan, I saved those. I saved the printed circuit boards. I saved the compressors. I saved the copper. I saved the aluminum. What else do I get? But anyway, you can break it down. If I had a machine that could cut it up and shake it and separate it, oh my God, I'd buy it. But the key to it is if you can everything that you can get efficiently. Like, okay, one thing, your electric motors. That's aluminum. That casing is aluminum. The wire inside is no longer copper, but it's a valuable metal. But it needs to be separated from the motor before it has the value. The time that it takes to separate it, just like manually, is not worth it. But if you could build a machine, say that would cut it, and break it.
Casey, did I not say this like 3-4 episodes ago about electric motors in particular? Because guess what? I've done it. I sat there in my garage on Mill Road, taking it apart, and I'm like, this ain't worth it. Like, the math checks out. I'm making myself about $8 an hour. Yeah. My hands are all cut up, and I'm frustrated. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is, we ended up getting 2 300-gallon totes, cut the tops off, spray paint motors only on it, fan motors,
just throw motors,
and any kind of motors. And believe it or not, I had to teach my guys the difference between a fucking motor and a fucking engine.
I had that conversation today. Someone's like, hey, I got a motor. Where's the bucket? I said, is it a motor or an engine? And it's my general manager. He goes, it's an electric motor and a grinder. I said, okay. I said, I'm good with that because most guys, when they first start, you're like, I don't know, it's a motor. I'm like, what did it come out of? Do you plug it in or do you fuel it up? Do you fuel it up? Well, that ain't a fucking motor. It's an engine, right? Combustion. And again, I'm not a gearhead particular individual, but what is it made out of? Is it right? Is it cast aluminum or is it, spun copper, whatever the fucking motors are made out of? I know what the hell they look like, right? Okay, so what you said is important, right? It is that, yes, your goal is to refurbish it, but what you also do is reuse it, right? You take a fridge, it's no longer a fridge, and now it's parts for a fridge, right? Which is nuanceical, but now you're repurposing, and then you still have this recycle. You go through 3 phases of what I call the 5-phase removal or the recovery process consistently with everything. You want to maximize the value, but in order to maximize the value, it's not about the dollars you get. It's about the dollars you get against the time it takes. Basic efficiency, but you got to, and guys like us know this. So real quick, Darren, just to give perspective, how many appliances are you repairing, or how many appliances come inbound in a month, and how many do you sell in a month?
I put out about 400 appliances a month. I put out about
sell.
It's
so like, you're selling 20, 25 appliances a day.
About 15.
If you were open 5 days a week.
6 days a week.
6 days a week. Okay, all right.
Yeah. So between 300 and 400. Per month, and because we see 60, 90. We see 90 a week, plus yours, a little over 100 or so a week. So let's say if I get a load of say 70 appliances, 35 are going to work. Okay, another 20 are going to have simple problems. Another 10 are going to have some more time-consuming problems, and then the last 5 or 6 it's just not going to be worth it. It'd be better just to strip them. There's nothing that can't be fixed. It's just, is it worth fixing? So one of the things
this is what
you said, it's not always about the money. It's also about the money you don't have to spend. So if you can just pull this part off that's worth $6, or you can spend 5 minutes pulling the part off that's worth $40, great. If it's going to take you an hour to get this one part out, and you can buy it for anything less than $30-$40, then leave it in there. Just leave it in there. But it's about saving money. It's about creating money. It's all about getting the most. Don't throw anything away. You look at those guys like Cargill, those big fruit producers. They take the corn. They use the husk after they detassel the corn to fuel a furnace that runs the. You get the point. They don't throw anything away.
Yeah.
Anything you can save.
Oh yeah, no. A lot of people don't know this. I only know this randomly because I watch way too much shit on YouTube. Kingsford Charcoal was actually Henry Ford's business partner. Yeah. And all the briquettes were originally all the wood that came off of making the Model A's and the Model D's. That's where that's how they got the business started. It's actually because they didn't want to make Ford charcoal for brand confusion, right? But going back to Henry Ford and anybody else, like, it's about maximizing the value. The other thing I love about that is you know your numbers. I don't care if you're watching Shark Tank or just talking to people in business, you can have all the warm and fuzzies and passion in the world. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. No, when people ask me what percentage of your customers are this or that, like I love the fact you're like 70, 30. You're like 70, it's 35 here, 20 here, and you compartmentalize, and you're right, you water it all down. You got to have accountability, because then you're going to know what's worth your time. And again, that's scrap into appliances, everything else. Let's go back 20, 25 years, however long it's been. Well, actually, when did you start taking apart and repairing wash machines in your garage?
Well, let's see.
How long had that been?
Okay, the whole story is this. My wife got offered a job here. I followed her here. We set up our house. I bought used appliances. Wasn't really happy with it because it was different than what it is back home. It's more expensive, all of that. So I'm doing a paper route. I was a district manager, which was the head paper boy. If I don't have somebody to do the route, I got to do the route. It was an old GE washer somebody set out, and I said I always could fix stuff. I didn't know diddly about fixing appliances at the time, but I knew I could get $100 for it. So I took it home. I fiddled with it. I got it running. I put an ad in the paper. I got 40 phone calls. Okay, so I did it again. I got 40 phone calls. And I said,
what year is this? Put a perspective real quick.
Huh?
Well, Hold on. Let's put it in perspective real quick. What year is this? Because there's some people that don't know what a phone is, or an ad in the paper.
Yeah. I put an ad in the paper. I didn't have this is before this is like 95, 96. I was 26 years old, 25, 26 years old. So yeah, it was 94, 95, right around the same time Packers won the playoffs that first time. So so anyway, by November 1999, I was in that store in Teutonia. But yeah, I was
okay. So three years from garage concept to you got a storefront.
Actually, 1 year after really starting, because I was in that apartment on 29th and Kidwin. I hadn't met you yet.
Yeah.
And I told the other paper carriers, hey, if you see a washer, I'll give you $5. If you tell me where it's at, I'll give you $5. I'll go get it. So I did that a few times. And then when me and my wife got married, we had a wishing well because we had already been living together. So I took $1,700, about a $600 van, $100 dolly, and the rest of what was left of that $1,700 plus my Journal Sentinel check, and got the first and last on a place that had a garage in the basement. And I rode around looking for washers and dryers. And so I found a few.
101 right there.
Going. I put an ad in the paper, and there you go. Boom, they sell. And then I ran into a guy that had a truckload of old Cyclops Maytags. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And he says, well, these are already junk. I said, well, call me the next time you get them. He says, you want these? I said, yeah. So he brought them to me. This scrap was like $40 a ton. So I bought them for like $10 each, $5 each, something like that, and sold them for $100 a pop. I drove to your house. I'd take it down in the basement, hook it up, show you it works, and then I'd collect the money and keep on going. And that's how we got started. So that was the year 1999. So by that summer, I was in that shop on Teutonia. By in 06, I had to fire everybody I had except one guy and start over. And then in 07, it was a 2-building operation. And then up, down. And then here we are today. Fleet of vehicles, 400 appliances a month, up to 20 employees. But the main thing is just treating people right. If you say you're going to do it, do it. Do the right thing, even if you're not going to make money. So like you go into somebody's house and you see something, it's the water's off, or it's just something stupid. You don't charge them. Guess who they're going to call? And you do that for somebody, and you come back and say, hey, this is going to be this much. They say, okay. They're paying you because they trust you. They're not paying you to get rid of you, But you didn't ask me all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
no, I love that because I kind of know that journey. But even the fact, the problem I have with a lot of social media, it's a fucking highlight reel, right? From 2000 to today, the only thing you touched base on was, oh yeah, in 2006 I had to fire everybody, 2007, whatever it was, right? Because that's the reality of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
A lot of people that aren't in it every day think entrepreneurship is go on social media, make some fucking posts, make some noise, and people are going to start Venmoing you fucking money. And that ain't it. It is $1,700. The fact that you spent $600 on a van and $100 on a dolly. I remember $100 on a dolly. That was insanity of money. Like $100 for a dolly. You teasing? No, just two strong arms and good attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But with that one, I could be a one-man crew. And to get the job done. Oh man, but yeah, you'll run into a lot. You will have the idea of thinking about what's best for everybody in your crew, and they are just trying to get what they can out of you. I paid a guy's rent and he stole from me. Yeah, he was about to get kicked out of his house. I bailed him out and he freaking stole from me. And not only that, he sold pot to one of my customers. He was out doing service calls. After I fired the guy, I went back to a customer's house. He says, do you got any more of that good stuff? I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, last guy had some really good smoke. I'm like, so, so the first thing I'd say is, I didn't want to be that typical business that uses you to spit you out or whatever, but you can't, you got to treat people like humans, but don't give them nothing extra. And nowadays, what I'm running into is people they'll fill out an application, you call them for the interview. If they show up for the interview, you hope they show up for the job when you offer it to them. I've never seen it like this, and I was thinking it was me. I'm thinking because I'm a small shop, but it's happening at UWM, University of Milwaukee. It's happening larger companies, like even Colders and
everywhere.
It's just nuts. I don't get it, you know. But
so you got. I mean, Casey and I have been in business 5-6 years on our own. You've been in business 25, 26 years.
23.
You know, doing your thing. 23 officially. Okay. So what have you noticed the last few years? I mean, not to say this is going to turn into a bitch fest, but what have you noticed the last few years when it comes to scaling your business with the challenge of people not wanting to work?
Well, it was COVID. COVID was the first thing. COVID was good, okay, for me anyway, because I was still essential business. People need appliances, okay, and so they were giving out that $600 on top of the employment. So there were people that weren't making $30,000 a year that are now making $30,000 a year. So they're coming in, they're buying up appliances. Then you got new appliances that are taking months to get delivered. So you got new appliance people looking at my used appliances like, wow, these prices are outrageously good. I'm even getting more money for it. So the shit's flying out the door. But then I need help. I'm trying to hire somebody. But then now you got people that are getting $30,000 to sit on their ass plus whatever they were getting anyway. So you don't get. So that was the first challenge. So then that money dried up in September of last year. I thought that we would start getting applicants then, but people had gotten used to it, and I think you're getting extensions. I'm not sure what's going on, but I know that free money dried up. But then there was some more free money out there. But now what's happening is you got so many people that are hiring, they're competing. So, like this guy might have 3 interviews going on. This other place is offering $25 an hour. So other place offering 18, and these guys don't have the skills or the decency nowadays to just say, hey, I found something else, or I'm not interested, So it's a really competitive job market. And then I think COVID killed the people that actually like to get off their ass. And it's my own personal theory, It didn't kill that.
Well, because also I think businesses started to adapt to, how do I get these people off the couch now? Because money isn't doing it. Andy and I found that out. Offering $25 an hour, people weren't showing up for a pretty, I would say, pretty kick job, and they weren't showing up because you had to incentivize differently, I guess. And even now, Texas is known for a lot of things, right? But the biggest thing that Texas has always been known for is cheap labor, honestly. And the biggest thing we've seen is what happens to the economy when your pretty much basis for anything being built, torn down, anything labor intensive done, when the basis of that, like when the standard goes up 200-300%, and now even guys that I have to start my laborers at $17-18 an hour, and all they're doing is just picking up shit, like they're not even doing anything really skilled labor. Well, you are looking at, and people are putting these ads out. Hey, we're going to be offering you $25 an hour, vacation time. Now you get to do this, and you're like, well, where's this job at? And it's McDonald's or something. You're like, holy shit! Yeah. But it's because desperate times call for desperate measures.
But what they're not realizing, that's what the inflation.
It's always going to be people centric. It's going to revolve around your people in this kind of business. I think, no matter what.
I agree. I think that's why we're having so much inflation too. Not just that they printed money, which was not smart. They printed more money in the last 3 than we have in the last 10. So that lowers the dollar. But if I gotta pay, if it costs me $1 to make a cheeseburger, I can sell it for $3. But if it costs me $2.50 to make this cheeseburger now, well, now I gotta pay more for the cheeseburger. And now me, the guy that eats cheeseburgers, I got to pay more for the cheeseburger, so I need to earn more money at my job. And then the other guy that I work for, he needs to make, and it goes on and on and on. So we got a couple things, a few things pointing towards.
No, I was saying I just raised prices July 1st. First time ever I've raised prices twice in a calendar year. I did a January one, and now I've done a July one, and you're right. Everyone's passing on costs to each other, and all. 2 years ago was this fight for 15. Well, now $15 an hour, you done priced yourself out of living life because it costs more to live. And
obviously,
labor costs more.
Fuel.
All right. Well,
everything.
Let's not go down that road because this turned into a fucking political podcast real quick. But it feels like as entrepreneurs, maybe it's just me, just being whatever struggling, it feels like the employee force is always, or there's a lot of things against you, and often it feels like the employee force is against you, based on what they can demand, on what other people can pay them. And right now it seems worse than the worst it's been in the 6 years that I've had full-time employees. I'm gonna leave it at that. Otherwise, I'm gonna get twitchy and go down that road. Let's pull back up to the green side of life for a hot second. Let's just talk about entrepreneurship in general. Let's talk about the things we can control. What have you seen, Darren? Because you've been an entrepreneur, right? You bootstrapped it. You made it happen. What are some things that you learned along the way that, especially a lot of guys we have contacting us right now, mostly men, a couple of women have reached out, right? They're either thinking about starting a business, or they've started it and now they want to get out of the truck, per se, and stop doing the thing every day and start bringing on labor. What are some things you had to learn, and how can we expedite their journey by some nuggets or tips? What it took you to get over the hump just to quit your job and go? And then once you went, decide I'm not going to be a sole proprietor and just do my own thing, but I'm going to hire people and grow a company.
Well, I would say try to be as efficient as possible. If you can, one man once said to me, avoid employees. Do what you and another person can do. And I didn't listen. And I still put that to the side. I say, if you're going to have employees, you have to have accountability, period. You have to act like you got 10 applicants, even if you don't. Or you got to have a, you know what, damn it, I'll do it myself attitude. Because when they start BSing, you send them home and the job still gets done. That sends a message. Now, you don't have the money in your pocket that you would have had in your pocket. Because I'm just going to say this. You could give some people a job smoking weed and eating pussy. They'll still find something to complain about.
Yep.
It's true. And you.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh man, Darren, you cut out there right after that.
Smoking weed and okay.
Beautiful piece of poetry you cut out there.
But yeah, get rid of him. Get rid of that guy. But some people, they start off, hey, if I just had a job, So you give him the job. 6 months later, he don't pay me enough for this. The thing is, you didn't do enough. You were late every day last week, or you did this, or you messed that up. You didn't pay attention to this, Like, okay, your guy Jerome. If your guy Jerome, when he was around, I don't know if he's still around, but if he said, hey, Andy, I got a new baby coming. If I could, you would say, okay, because Jerome, he shows up, he does the job, but that.
Jerome's been with him. Actually, I was on a job with Jerome this morning.
Yeah.
And we talked about it 5 years ago. 5 years ago, the week of 4th of July was his first week officially as an employee. He was a temp for like 2 weeks before that. So Jerome, this is his 5-year anniversary this week. Because like you said, Jerome the other day, he needs to move. He's like, hey, I'm going to need to move. I'm going to need to borrow a truck. I might need some money for a down payment on a new place. Man, ain't nothing to it.
And you don't think
right? Because like you said, first 90 days, I'm probably losing money on an employee the first 90 days because I'm taking the time to teach them. Next 90 days, I'm making my money back that I invested the first 90 days. So after 6 months, you're right. Now you're starting to make me money. You are more valuable than you were day one, but I can't necessarily pay you a lot more because I couldn't pay you what you were day one because day one, you weren't worth a whole lot.
Yeah,
and after 6 months, we're at a place now where I can pay you a little bit more, but not a lot of bit more because I'm just getting to the point where where I'm feeling good about the relationship.
Yeah, you got to realize your investment. So I'd say make it clear what's expected of them. If you can write like McDonald's has those videos and they got the book, the more of that you can do, the better. But the clearer you can make it, and if they know what's expected of them and what to expect. So if it's, what do I expect if I do a good job? What do I expect if I'm late? What do I expect if I do this? If all of that's clear, you can get you get better results. You get better results, but you're still going to get that guy that I just talked about. And then the other thing is knowing how much to listen to, because if you try to make your people happy, but you got to make them kind of happy. But if you listen to everything, like I don't know, one day I just found myself saying, "I'm the boss and these are my orders." That's that, But I remember a time when I try to explain or reason and all of that. But dude, this is what has to happen. You don't get to say so. So but if you do too much of that, it depends on the personalities you're working with, the type of knowing your industry, knowing your people. If I had to sum it up, know your industry, know your people, hold them accountable.
Yeah, some people want to be asked, and some people want to be told, and you got to figure out who those people are. Now, one thing you said was interesting. So this is scaling a little bit with employees. So I got the Jerome rule, okay, right? And it's only funny because you brought up Jerome. Here's the Jerome rule: if Jerome says it to me, it's a problem. That's it. He will be the last one to bitch.
Yeah.
But once if he says it's hot, it's fucking hot.
Yeah.
If he says that the morale is down and that we don't have right tools and equipment or it's a bad job, I believe it. Because you're right. Like we always joke in the military, right? The best
Altman. That's Altman all day, right?
Yeah. Everyone's got that guy where it's like that's the parameter for how bad is it. And the challenge I have with someone like Jerome is he doesn't speak up. So if I'm hearing a buzz, I got to go to Jerome, and sometimes I got to ask him, "Hey, what am I missing here?" And sometimes what people are bitching about is the symptom, and Jerome knows good and well the fucking problem.
Yeah.
He's just not the leader. He's got the most experience, but he doesn't want to be a leader.
Yeah.
So you gotta lead people to get the answer you want. Like you said, you got to find the right balance or mix. I hate the word balance, right? Yeah. But truly here with balance, because it is, are you going to ask more questions and do more telling? Because different situations dictate different solutions. Yeah. And you can't do all of one or the other.
Yeah, I think it's a constant battle between motivation and happiness, right? Like obviously you can't fully supply someone with 100% happiness because you just can't, right? You don't really know what they want as far as what makes them truly happy, and maybe you can't give them to. But motivation is a huge factor that I found. I stopped asking myself like, what do they want? Well, you know what? It doesn't matter what they want. What matters is how do they want to be treated, okay? And what do they want to get out of whatever they're doing?
Yep.
You'll see the first time anything happens and people go straight for the money. Like, right, hey, I've been here for 3 months now. So when am I going to have a raise? It's like,
well, you're fired.
Right, are you ready?
Somebody else knew and paid them less. Shit.
Well, so like, and I've had this talk with Andy many times. I had a kid, 18 years old, was with me for 2.5 years, and I mean, he maxed himself out hourly wise. Like I was like, hey, I'm putting you on salary now. You're gonna be a team lead, blah 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 blah. And he was like, no thanks, I don't want it. I'm like, why? He's like, well, I don't want to be in charge of that. I don't want to have those responsibilities. And I was telling him, I'm like, do you understand what salary means? It means no matter what, you're getting paid. As in, the week could go to shit, and I can send everybody home early, but yet you still get paid the same. And he goes, well, I don't want to be a team lead. So that showed me, for him, it wasn't the money. He liked doing just enough without having too much to be in charge.
Banging jobs. Hey, you need that guy. You need a guy that can just bang jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he would ask me for a raise, and I'm like, at this point, I can't justify giving you more hourly pay to just be a driver. Like, there's just
nope.
At that point, it's like I can go get someone way cheaper, and at least, right, basing on him, I can at least buy me another 2.5 years, right? So
yeah,
it depends on the situation. I mean, if you got a bunch of guys that show up late and don't do it, and this guy's the guy that you can set your watch by, I mean, he's worth a few more. Just hey, and if somebody wants to say, well, why does he get paid more? Well, he didn't call in last week. You step your game up like him, and you can make more. And then that'll shut a lot of people up because like I had that situation. I had one guy, he was making X, and it got out, and I said, well, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do that? Okay, well, how about you do that for a few months and then we can talk. And it was like some people just kept complaining and didn't improve, and then they ended up not being there anymore. And some people stepped up. It was the proof in the pudding. It's like because I can say, hey, if you do this, I'll do that. I'm selling the dream. But now if this guy's standing here and it happens, and that there's the proof, But it was something you said a minute ago, and I lost it. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's trying to keep everybody happy. No, you get some people where you could say, hey, if we get this thing you guys want, we'll be out of business in 3 months. And everybody will explain and understand that and say, okay, well, maybe we shouldn't get that. But it'll be somebody that'll still complain that we don't have this thing now, even though they know it'll be our undoing. If we get this one thing, it'll put us out of business.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get that guy that'll complain about it. So you just got to know when. I'm repeating what we already said, but you got to know when some people are just bitching to be bitching and when it's real. And if you got a guy like Jerome, even if he just wants to be the regular guy, it's okay to give him a little bit more if you can afford it. If you can afford it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
you pay people for being. You pay people to be A players and A roles.
Yes.
Right.
At the same
but
time,
some roles have a ceiling. Because
so
that's true. Yeah.
I pay Altman. So Andy knows Brandon. He works with me. He's my guy. He does all my demos with me. And I pay him very healthy for what he does because of one thing and one thing only. I 100% trust him. Is he the best? Fuck no. But you know what? I trust him. I know for a fact I can leave right now, and if shit goes down, I don't trust that things go great. I trust that if things go wrong, he will let me know immediately, and if he can fix it, he'll do it.
Oh, that's valuable.
But I pay him minimally like $350 a day just to push shit around on a skid steer that I'm paying for. But I mean, if I have a day job where it's like, hey man, I only need you for a couple hours, it's already built in. He's getting $350 minimally. Yeah, but this job he's getting 15%.
Yeah,
saving you headaches.
Saving you the cost of fuck ups too.
And he's always packing. Like right now, we're both packing because, dude, I'm getting passed up by so many fucking people. Like I'm over here, I have my pistol, my gat just sitting right here, just in case. You don't ever know, man. Like you just don't ever know.
not done in Texas. All right, so you're on vacation, Darren. What is your current situation? Are you obviously still own Wash Machine Man? Are you still running a day-to-day? Have you hired somebody? Are you doing it by proxy?
I would love to find a good ops manager or manager, but no, I'm running it day-to-day. I got some competent people. I'm at 8%. I'm at 8%, but I'm with you to the end.
Right.
You ever seen one of those elapsed time movies where it's like like it might be a picture of a forest and you see summer, spring, winter, fall just real fast, but these trees don't move and that river stays the same? I got 10 people that are like that in those trees and those rivers, right? And then the other 10 are like the leaves and the dirt and the snow. They just go.
They come and go.
Yeah. So the week before last, I had 3 people that were supposed to start, and all 3 of them didn't show up. Okay. Then this week, I raised my starting pay a little bit, and these applicants that came in, so they showed up, and they're working right now. But one of my guys, he's been around for a while. The shit hit the fan. I haven't gotten a phone call yet from anybody. Okay, but it went bad. And he got somebody else on that truck. He got somebody else in the factory, and we kept on going. We didn't miss a beat, and it got us through the day. He told me what was going on, and this was before I left for vacation. And then by the time he kept it going, and then I was able to get in there, and then take it, and then just keep it, and then get it fixed, and now we're back to normal. So it didn't fall completely apart, and you get some. Like you say, you got some people that want to be asked and some people that want to be told. Yeah, this guy that thinks he thinks he'll do what's in the best interest of the company, to the best of his ability. I got a young lady that's the same way, and then you met Devin. He's been around since day one. He handles all the service calls. So with 3, and then I got another guy that does the quality control.
How long's Devin been with you? Is he longest employee, right?
Yeah, he's been around since day one, since 1990, whatever it was. So the state of the company now, the last couple months have been really rough, because I have been short-staffed for, close to a year. I mean, my business works good with a crew of like 18 to 20, and I've been running with 14 people. I got 10 really tired and exhausted people that, yeah, but we're starting to get in sync again, and we're getting this little bit of new blood that we got is helping. But it's been an uphill battle these last 3 months in particular. I mean, I have to dig into the line of credit, had to sell off some stock just to keep afloat, but
Yeah.
but it's turning. It all came down to not having people there to do the job.
Yeah, I will
if I
say,
had a machine,
Darren, I think real quick, what's happening right now and what's going to happen, like what's kind of revamping is the labor market. I think now is going towards more of a automation, very think smarter, not harder type feel. I'll be honest, man, I subbed out 2 jobs that I was actually excited about, but I subbed them out 100% because I could not get the people in time. And I'm usually very, very good at getting people together, even for anything fun. But like this was 2 houses, like that was it. 2 houses in the same street, nothing around it. Easy demo. I mean, it would have been very profitable, but I actually couldn't do it. So I subbed it off to another demo company, and they paid me like $500 a house. So, it worked, but
yeah,
I think that's where we're going right now, man. I think a lot of people don't want to fucking do hard shit. They're learning from guys like us.
I think that's why a lot of jobs are going overseas too, and people complaining about it. But shit, as an employer, I kind of see why, and that scares me, So, what's that going to do for our economy?
The problem is we can't outsource what we do. We can't fucking automate it.
No, we can't.
That's it. We physically go into people's homes. We go into businesses. We take things apart. We put them back together. We make sure they work. The challenge is, and I said this years ago, right? That's a beautiful thing about our industry is the fact that they'll always need labor and competent people. Well, the problem with the industry is we always need labor and competent people. So I'm going to have a fucking job. I'll always have a fucking job. But my job might not be sitting here doing podcasts in my office. My job might be going and banging projects and hauling refrigerators out of basements because we don't have people that are willing to do it. And I'm still willing to do it. So where I want to be the repeatable, one in this equation, I struggle to find the people that are willing to go out and do the work.
Yeah.
So
I got
all right. So let's
and I'm gonna need to call my wife.
Shit.
So let me
all right.
Give me enough battery to be able to find her. I got 3%, but
all right. Well, we'll wrap it at that. Casey and I, we'll just last final. What does the future look like? What words of encouragement you got for people that are considering getting in this industry?
You can write your own paycheck. It's not all gravy, but yeah, you can write your own paycheck. Hold people accountable, and if you can find the right people, you can make it. What's happened in the last few years is just no one was expecting COVID. No one expected Putin to invade. In a regular world, yeah, you can be okay. Everything's upside down right now. So just remember that. And keep pushing.
All right, too easy. Keep pushing. That's the word of the day. Darren, the wash machine man, not just a business associate of mine, but I'd say a mentor of mine all these years. Appreciate having you on here and giving us your wisdom and knowledge. Appreciate you, man. Love you. I'll see you when you get back in Milwaukee, and we'll go bang some more appliances as we always do.
Always.
This has been episode 12 of the Trash Talk Business Podcast. I'm Manny Weins. My co-host, Casey Bubba Lawrence, and all of you out there hauling junk and trash every day. We'll see you next week.
Peace.